When she announced her abdication during a live New Year TV address at the beginning of this year, Queen Margrethe II sent shockwaves through Denmark as the first Danish monarch to abdicate in almost 900 years. The Queen will officially step down this Sunday, paving the way for her son, Crown Prince Frederick, to take her place as Denmark's reigning monarch. A constant throughout much of Queen Margrethe's reign was her husband, Prince Henrik, who passed away in 2018. The prince was a flamboyant and eccentric character whose later life in particular was marred by controversy. He was a bon vivant with a penchant for poetry, cooking and wine who became notorious for his unpredictable outbursts, which earned him the title of Winner of the Year from one Danish TV channel. Born Henri de Laborde de Montpezat in 1934 at Talence, Gironde in France, the prince spent much of his childhood in Hanoi, where he became fluent in Vietnamese, before moving to Paris to study law and political science at the Sorbonne. He moved to London to work as a diplomat, where he first met the then Princess Margrethe in 1967. Within a year of their marriage, they welcomed their first son and heir to the Danish throne, Prince Frederick. According to Wim de Hanschutter, royal reporter at DPG Media, the prince made a positive first impression on the Danish people. In the beginning, generally he was greeted with big emotions and love. Wim exclusively told Hello. He was a young handsome Frenchman who took the young Princess Margrethe by storm. The prince's behavior in later life grew increasingly erratic as he opted to candidly share many of his personal frustrations with the press, before being diagnosed with dementia shortly before his death. He was a polarizing figure who evoked delight and disapproval in equal measure from the Danish public. Prince Henrik had a love-hate relationship with the Danish people, Wim said. They loved to hate him. Join us as we look back at some of the standout moments in the colorful and controversial life of Prince Henrik. Midlife crisis. Prince Henrik sparked controversy in 2002 when he aired his frustrations with his life in the shadows, deeming himself useless, relegated, and in the midst of a midlife crisis. This revelation came following reports that he had been demoted to the third rank in the Danish royal family, after he had been the guest of his son Frederick, who Queen Margrethe chose to represent her instead of her husband, at an official New Year's reception in Copenhagen earlier that year. The prince told Danish newspaper BT that these circulating comments were the final straw. He blamed the press for what he described to be the worst crisis of his life, and denied that his son was at all responsible for his bruised self-esteem. He's a wonderful boy, he said. It's not his fault. I think he's timid and he isn't content with the current situation. I want to make that clear. I'm not jealous of my own son. He's not the one trying to change the order. In the midst of this, Henrik fled to his chateau in the south of France to take a step away from royal life. Aversion to royal life. When Margrethe became queen in 1972, the title of prince consort was immediately bestowed on her husband, as is convention. Henrik had to overhaul his life when his wife became queen. He had to change his religion, language and name to adapt to Danish royal life. However, the prince, who maintained in his writings that he still saw the Frenchman Henri when he looked in the mirror, did not shy away from voicing his displeasure with some of the adjustments that royal life demanded. In particular, he openly criticized his prince consort title. Traditionally, when a queen is crowned, her husband is named prince, while if a king ascends to the throne, his wife immediately becomes known as queen.